Alright, let's start this day. So, late as per usual. It's just like clockwork, honestly. I think I wanted to leave home 25 minutes ago, but it will work. I was reading a little bit of stuff about like work-life balance as a doctor. There was like, Jesus, some sun. Oh my God, I actually didn't see that car until it was like 2 meters away from me. That sun is crazy. Alright, I think we should just go. I was reading a couple of comments that I had on some of the videos about whether I wanted to do medicine or whether I'm happy more so with the decision that I made to study medicine and work as a doctor. And it's a fair point. I mean, there is lots of reasons that people see and they're like, why would you ever want to do this? I mean, there's lots of time commitment and essentially money spent and I guess sacrifice in a way. It depends on how you look at it. Like, I don't really see it as that, although it may look like that for other people. So all I see is that I'm doing stuff that I enjoy doing, that I like doing. I'm interested in the field and I find them interesting and engaging, and I enjoy the people that I hang out with at work. So if that's what you look at and you think, oh, you're making a massive sacrifice, you're making like, that's like very dedicated and a tough decision, then I don't know, maybe you've got it a bit wrong. Or maybe you just haven't found the people that you connect with at work if you are in medicine and you're feeling like not too sure about continuing. But as long as you make a decision, think about it, and it's a decision that you actually are comfortable with and can sleep easy at night knowing that you've made it. If you're constantly in this state of like indecision, undecided, well, then you're not going to be happy nor unhappy. You're just going to be like sort of half like dipping your feet in the water. Think about it, make a decision, understand what it's like on a day-to-day basis, which is what I'm trying to show you now. I mean, it's 7:20 and I'm on my way to work. Usually what happens if you're at a busier, like the hospital that I'm at is more of an elective hospital. At the moment, there's not a lot of like inpatient and emergency department patients that come through. That's at a different, bigger centre in our health network. So if that's the case, like I would have already been at work half an hour ago, 40 minutes ago, rounding on the patients and getting ready for the morning like operating lists or clinic or whatever it is that we have planned. But this hospital, a little bit easier. I can have like a little bit more of a sleep in. Whatever you do, you'll have to work hard at it to get good enough at it, to get expertise in it. If it's a medical field or some other field, you'll have to put in time and effort and energy into it in order to excel and level up. So if you don't enjoy it at baseline, then it's going to be very tough for you to gain those skills, enough skills to eventually be an expert in that area, or at least knowledgeable enough to work at the highest level in that area. Yeah, you need to really consider like what life is like on a day-to-day basis, and then what it looks like at the end of the road, like at the highest position. The most time you spend in your career will be at that highest level. I've already done my time as an intern. It was a 1-year thing, 1-year contract, and now I'm never going to be an intern again. So if I did medicine because I liked what life as an intern was like, then that's a terrible reason to do medicine. You need to have some like larger, bigger calling or bigger reason to do medicine. It can't just be because being a med student was fun, or because I saw mum do cardiology, or my dad was a GP or something like that and I thought his life was good. I mean, what about training to be a doctor? What about all the stages of GP training, travel in medicine, going around to different health networks, you know, working as a GP, but maybe more so than that, setting up your own practice, or maybe you want to do rural medicine for a bit. And what about GP life would actually stimulate you or engage you or make you want to keep going back for more? So you don't have to answer these questions before you've done medicine, by the way. Like, it's just like along the way you need to keep asking yourself these questions so you can be happy with the stuff that you're deciding to do on a day-to-day basis. And then, like, I mean, this whole thing about like work-life balance as well, like, it's an interesting one. People will say you need to maintain work-life balance, but I feel like, yeah, like you need to, of course, no doubt about it, but they might put more emphasis on the life and balance part of it and forget about the actual work part. A good way to think about it is, you know, you essentially need to earn your stripes in that area, get some credit. You can't always just start off in that zone where it's just balanced the whole time. And I don't know, at least from my point of view, that's the way I see it. I reckon you need to pop in, like, you need to put in a bit of hard work. I don't know why that guy does that. Puts on his indicator, doesn't even turn right, goes straight instead. So many cars in this roundabout do it. I think they're confused because they think that the first exit is left and the second exit is sort of right, but it's the second exit. Like, you're going straight. The third exit is right. That's like, I feel like I need to like reteach people how to drive on the roads, you know. Whatever. Everyone will have their own different way of approaching how the day runs and how you actually manage your time and everything like that. But the way I see it is that for the first couple of years, you should actually focus on putting in a bit of hard work, and then you slowly like work your life into it as well. And you don't have to just completely go cold turkey on everything else in your life, but if you're running at 50% and someone's running at like 100% or 90, say close to like 80-90%, they're just going to get more done, they're going to get better at the job, and they're just going to level up much, much faster. And it's a little bit like that in medicine when some people are like trying to get into different like fields or different specialties, and it is hard work, you know, like you have to do a lot of things to get onto certain training programs, and especially if there's not too many spots in there and it's very limited, and the bottleneck is like very tight. There has to be like ways to separate people, and if they're all doing the same things, then it's almost expected that you do that as well. I guess often down to like the interview and the personality, and at the end of the day, and how much you like are able to work with people, because most people have the same qualifications, the same points, the same research, all that jazz. If you don't put in the hard work and you leave points on the table, you may like shoot yourself in the foot a little bit because you give someone else the opportunity to level up and get those skills and essentially get a place instead of you. So yeah, it's an interesting question because I see both sides of the argument. Like, well, you can't just identify as your job, and you can't just work 100% of the time. And I mean, sure, like, I mean, you actually can. Like, I'm not saying that I want to do that or enjoy doing that. I have other things that I enjoy doing other than work, and as soon as I get home from work, I sort of like to switch off and do 100 other things that is on my mind, or see other people, or you know, go different places and explore. And you have to diversify your interests, but in the same token, if you just look at work like a job and something that you have to do to earn money, then it's going to be a very hard working life. if that's the way you see it. There needs to be some deeper level of connection with the actual tasks that you're doing. You see it time and time again, like, I mean, if that's the only thing that they did and now it's no longer an enjoyment factor, maybe something happens at work or whatever, and they don't have any other factors in their life to, I don't know, support them, then it can be like a downward spiral. It's very, very sad. Like, diversify your interests. Sure, people can work 110% of the time, and there are some people who can do that and will never get bored and just constantly like absolute workhorses and live and breathe like the stuff that they're into, the field. But not for me. I don't think. I definitely have other things in life that I'd rather be doing apart from work, but I very much enjoy what I'm doing and the tasks that I'm doing and the people that I'm hanging out with. So also been studying a bit, and actually like semi-consistently I've been able to do a little bit of study. Still a little bit challenging. I mean, if I had any advice, if you were studying for an exam or trying to do some course or something like that with a full-time job, chaotic, absolutely chaotic. You lose so much momentum all the time, and it's so hard to get back into the swing of things. I also think it's like because I haven't studied in a while. So, I mean, after you go through med school and even undergrad and even through high school as well, I mean, that's so many years of study. When you finish all that and you become like a doctor, can we just go around this car? Oh my God, let's go. Let's go. There's no reason we should be slowing down. But as soon as you start work, then you are learning heaps, and arguably heaps more than when you were studying like textbooks and watching lectures and everything like that. But you are mentally and physically exhausted after you finish a day. So the last thing you want to do is actually come home and study. And it's like, well, I was just at work like learning heaps of stuff. Why do I need to go and study? Or like, how can I motivate myself to pick up the books and study? Because like the stuff that you learn is not always the stuff that's being tested on exams and everything like that. Like if there was a test and it said, how do you get images from this random private radiology place onto the hospital system and do it in 5 minutes, I'd be like a whiz. I'd be like, easy, I'll do it in 2 minutes and show someone else how to do it in the other 3 minutes. Like, but it'll be testing like very like minute details that you'll only know if you did the reading of the specific text in the textbook, you know? So it's like taking like a gap year off all this study, like essentially 2 years, and trying to force yourself to get back into the rhythm of it. But then you still got all this time spent doing other stuff, like you're not just studying. So it's an interesting transition to make, because I've never studied and done something else. Like I've always studied but only done that properly. Like when I was at uni, like I was just doing uni. Sure, I had like casual jobs and part-time jobs to supplement like income, and you know, so I could actually have some money to spend and everything, but that wasn't like, I was still like living at home. I didn't need to pay rent. I wasn't reliant on that income for anything else than my like personal enjoyment. So yeah, now you have to work, you have to do your work, and you rely on that to pay for your like living expenses. But then you're also doing this other study, which can get neglected at some times. So having like the right strategies in place is super important. Like I've been trying this new thing where like I was like, oh, I'll just do like 10 practice questions a day, haven't done that in like 2 days, 3 days, honestly. And so now I'm feeling like I'm more switching towards like, well, if I can get, say, if my goal was like 10 practice questions a day, but I can't do that every single day, or some days are busier than others, of course, then maybe I should just have an aim of 70 practice questions a week. And if I start thinking in terms of weeks rather than days, then it makes it all a bit easier, and I'll be able to maybe digest it and accomplish more, because the pressure is off, you know. And the danger is that you leave it all to the last minute, spam it all in, and then you don't get it done on time, or you feel like extra pressure and stress. But I feel like I might do the opposite. Like if I had 70 questions to do for the entire week, then I'd rather get that done sooner rather than later, because then it's like your work. It's like chores, you know, at home. If your parents gave you if you had some chores to do as a kid, then they said as soon as you get your chores done, then you can play PlayStation or whatever. I don't know who's honking who, but I'm not honking anyone. I'm just an innocent bystander in this whole situation. If you do your chores as a kid, or you get like 5 chores to do, like you need to make your bed, you need to do the dishwasher, you need to hang out the laundry, you need to wash the car, and you need to do some vacuuming or something, then after that, then you can do whatever you want, or after that you get $30 or $40 or whatever. I'd be wanting to do that as soon as possible if that's my incentive, because after that's done, and if I'm hyper efficient, super good at it, then I can get that done and then do all the stuff that I really want to do. Because I don't really want to be doing study, to be quite honest. Like, that's not my main goal in life, is to study. I'd rather do fun things or fun activities, like stuff that brings you actual enjoyment. Studying is boring, you know. I might switch to that like weekly model of study, or weekly model of like goals, so that I don't have to stress about doing something every single day. Maybe that will work, maybe that might not work. Oh, that guy. Lee knows it's our last day. I think he's one of the doctors upstairs on like the medical ward. I can just see him walking with a cake. That is adorable. If only I brought a cake. Well, I didn't bring a cake, but I'm at work. Let's get to it. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to get sorted, so I'll see you guys later. Happy scooter. That is a wrap. Why the hell did I say that? That is horrendous. Wow. Okay, so driving out now. That's the last proper full day as a resident. We have the weekend tomorrow, but the weekend doesn't really count. Is this car gonna run into me? Yeah, what are you doing? Jesus, that was close. That guy was aggressive, man. So aggressive for like a Friday. Anyways, it can't get me down. Like, the mood's up. Like, it would have been bad if that was actually a car crash. Like 30 seconds into that drive home, done. Whatever. So the day was actually pretty good. Let's do a quick recap. So we started off, we rounded on our 2 patients. They were both awaiting what we call trial avoids. Now, trial avoids is interesting. Like, essentially, it means can you wee or can you urinate without a catheter? I don't think I have the lights on. It's like the sunniest day ever. So essentially, we pull out the catheter and see if they can urinate. And I'm gonna go. Let's do that. And if they can urinate, then that's good. And we don't have to put a catheter back in. But if they can't, then we do have to put a catheter back in and work out, hey, what's the reason why they can't do this? They both passed, which was good, so I didn't have to do anything, and they both went home. Then we just got to go into some operations and have a look at those. There was 3 operations in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. We got to do one of the operations in the morning. We just did it completely ourselves. It was awesome. The boss was watching us. It was just a camera into the bladder to have a look around. The one before was, it's called an orchidopexy. We essentially fix the testis to the scrotum so it doesn't spin around or it doesn't cause any pain or anything like that. So that was interesting to see. I've seen a couple of those before, so I didn't scrub in for that one. I just watched that. And the other one was, it was a biopsy. It was a biopsy of the prostate. So we did that. I just watched that as well, but it was good, like good teaching. One of the consultants, the bosses who was on, that was their list, did a lot of teaching in between cases. It's a relatively relaxed list. There wasn't too much pressure or like time pressure to get everything sorted. So we had a lot of time to talk and teach, and it was sort of like a fun day. Like it was my last day, like seeing the bosses, and it was the registrar's last day, seeing the boss as well. So everyone's sort of moving on to different hospitals. So it was actually like all like pretty like upbeat, like good vibes. Then we got some coffee, which was good. Then we had our Friday lunch, which was kind of nice. We had Nando's, so we got that. That was like a nice way to sort of like celebrate and just like cap off the year. We usually get Nando's on a Friday, but this Nando's was extra special. Are we going 40 or are we what are we doing? It's a bit slow. I know you get places. I know you go somewhere. So yeah, it was nice to just like share lunch with the other junior doctors who've been working with for the past couple of weeks. We had dinner last night. We went out to like a Korean barbecue, and sort of with the whole team, because we're split over a couple of different campuses or different areas for this rotation. So there's a couple of us in like non-clinical roles, there's a couple of us in clinical roles at one hospital, and then there's me who's in a clinical role at a different hospital. And we all sort of met up last night with all the registrars, had a nice like end of rotation dinner, got them some presents just to say thank you for the year. And yeah, I think it's nice, like when you don't look at it just as work and just as a job, and you actually meet some good people and you become like friends with them and you get on with them. I don't know, because everyone's in the same boat. Like, it's hard sometimes at the start where you're just trying to find your feet, you're trying to concentrate, you're trying to actually just figure things out, and you've already got established friends and interests elsewhere. I mean, like, when people just go to work and you just focus on the work itself, it can get kind of like repetitive, and maybe you don't like enjoy it as much. But when you go to work and you're actually like enjoying the company that you're around, you're getting on with the people who you work with, and you become friends. I mean, I think there's no other way to put it, and it's really nice when that happens, because then you're doing like interesting work, you're learning heaps, and you're also seeing like the lighter side of it. Like, you don't have to be like so serious and robotic the whole time. You need to have a relationship with people that you can get on with, but you can ask questions, you can take feedback, you can give feedback, you can have like a dynamic discussion. It's not like someone just telling you what to do the whole time if they're your senior or if they're the boss. You want to have a like dynamic relationship with the boss, and even like your colleagues as well, like people at the same level or even slightly more junior than you. Like, you want to be able to interact, to teach, to learn, to listen, talk about patients, learn about different cases. The way that works the best is if you actually have a good relationship with the people you work with. And little things like just going out for dinner for like an end of rotation drinks, or end of rotation dinner for like bonding or whatever. I mean, it just makes that the work days better and easier, and it makes it feel less like work, which is a good thing. Like, you can't just joke around and have fun and, you know, not take it seriously, because there are like interests to, you know, advance your career and everything, but you want to actually have fun along the way. It's that whole like thing about like the journey, not the destination. If you're just going to work, just ticking boxes and then going home just because that's the direction that you need to pursue in order to get to the place where you want to get to, I just don't know if that's the right way to go about it. You need to develop relationships along the way and really invest in the people, because then when you invest in those people, they will also invest in you, and the returns are like tenfold, you know. But you do need balance, you know. You can't just work and work and work. You need separation from that, and having interests outside medicine is super important. It gets harder, I'll be honest. Like, it gets harder the more you get down the track, the less ability you have to separate work from your other life, and it becomes sort of intertwined a bit, because when you're outside work, when you're not working, you're doing other things to either prepare for work or help other people out. I mean, I was talking to some other people, they were like, I was talking to one of my fellows today, and they were explaining how sometimes there is like private assisting rostered into people's contracts, and you actually are required to go and help out surgeons in their private rooms to assist them in different procedures or different operations. And that's not your, like, you do get paid for it, sure, but that's not part of your contract for work. So that's an extra thing that you'll have to do potentially to build relationships and to solidify those relationships. That's just one example. I mean, another example is doing research. That's not paid. That has to happen in order for you to apply to certain programs and stuff. You have to also do conferences and go to different events, because that is also required. Do reading and study and learn about different conditions, and make sure you're on top of all the latest data, and even just like looking up your patients. Like, I think one big thing that I didn't realize took so much work is preparing patients for the operations that they're about to have. Oh, someone's trying to overtake me. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. So what usually happens is that the registrars will prepare the list for the consultant, and they will send that to them ahead of time, maybe a week or 2 weeks ahead, depending on how organised the bookings people are and how organised the registrar is. It'll usually be like a table of some sort, and you send out a table with the patients on their list. It might be one patient, it might be 2 or 3 patients, just depends what it is. You'll go through the patient's name, details, the operation they're having, the time that they're having it, the indication, the latest blood test results, any important images, and any other important clinical details for that particular patient. You'll send that to the consultant ahead of time so that they're aware of what people they're being operated on, what operations they're going to do, and if there's anything they need to look out for. So that actually takes a lot of time, and that happens, you know, sometimes out of hours. You're not always, you can't always do that on like during the work day, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff that needs to happen instead. So yeah, I don't know, it is what it is. You have to do work and preparation regardless of whether you're in medicine or other fields. Holy shit, I'm tired. I need some rest. I'm gonna go home and chill. We've got a weekend shift tomorrow. Hopefully that's not too busy, although I suspect it might be. I looked at the board before I left. There's a few too many patients that are hanging around, which is frustrating to say the least. I was hoping for a nice relaxing round. So we're gonna rest up, weekend shift, new job on Monday. Absolutely chaotic. I don't know how I'm gonna go, but I guess we'll just have to see. Wait and see. Bye.